What was the reaction in Chinatown when Uncle Benny passed away in July of '94?
The reaction. So I guess yeah, he was old man. I mean, eventually he has to go. I mean, you're asking my personal opinion.
But you
Right.
didn't see like it wasn't like a mourning or anything like that. It was just more of like it was we knew this time was going to come.
Yeah, he's an old man. It's not even fun. He was an old man. I mean, it's good. It's the gangs.
Because it
The,
seems like his death happened around the same time that the gang started to fade out, though, right?
yeah, I mean, after he died, it just seems like it's not the same anymore
Mm-hmm.
because the Tongs were respected by the gangs, and then after that, the Tongs had no power over the gangs. Remember, people mistaken us for being the triad, or sometimes they call us the Tongs. But there's a difference between the triad, the Tongs, and the gangs. Okay, there's a difference. The triads are based international, just like 14K, Sun Yon, or there's so many different triads, but they're all over the world. They have their tentacles in all different countries, but they're mostly based out of Hong Kong, Taiwan, and there's a triad in Toronto, Canada. So there's different sets. The triads, when they deal with New York City's Chinatown, they have to go to the towns, and the towns reach out to the street gangs like us. So who has the power? It's really the street gangs that have all the power, and the towns is like a bridge between like our connection to the towns give us the connection to the police department, to the, because the towns deal with the police department, they deal with the politicians, they deal with, you know, it's like a one-stop shop for everyone in the community, the store owners, you know, anything that goes on in Chinatown, the towns know about it. If this guy is selling a store, or that this apartment is for rent, if you need a loan, you go to the towns. So
They're like the community center, pretty much.
exactly, exactly. So they're the ones that the triads reach out to get to the gangs. So if they want to bring the heroin to this country, or they want to bring some bootleg stuff to this country, then they deal with the tongs, and then they reach out to the gangs.
So you're saying that the triads really don't have that much power in America like that, though?
They have absolutely no power in New York City's Chinatown. I'll tell you that
Oh,
right
in New
now,
York City, China. Okay, okay.
because they will have to go to the gangs. They will have to go to the gangs, just like Onion Head, Machine Gun Johnny. He, when he got into the heroin business, he made so much money that how can you respect the Toms when you're making so much, that pulling in that kind of money with drugs? That's why, like, even the Italian mob, they didn't want their people to deal in drugs, because number one, it's going to bring heat, and number two, you're pulling in ridiculous amount of money. And when you do that, the hierarchy, the structure, the organization, they just collapse, because you know,
People start fighting.
yeah, you're making that kind of money. You're making a lot more than what your boss is making.
Right.
How are you going to respect your boss?
It's interesting because like mainstream media, and movies and stuff like that, right? Like Hollywood, they give us these ideas like from like Rush Hour, the Triads, they got like all this kind of power in America and everything. But the interesting thing about the movie Rush Hour, the first one, the villain's name is Jun Tao, which is a lot of people have speculated they
Tong
copied
Tao.
from Chung Tao, right? Yeah,
Tong
from
Tao
Onion Head,
means onion head in Chinese,
right?
but they
And Machine
twisted
Gun Johnny.
yeah, they twisted.
What was your experiences with him?
Oh, when I came out, his name was all over him. His name was like was known. And the people who were known back then, like the name kept circulating around, was Amigo from the BTK,
Hmm.
Chong Tao. Nobody called Machine Gun Johnny. We don't, if you back in those days, we don't even know who Machine Gun Johnny is. I think it was like later on the newspaper gave him that name.
Oh wow.
Yeah, everyone calls him Onion Head. And I was like surprised, who is Machine Gun Johnny? Then I looked at it, oh, okay, so they're talking about, Johnny Eng, Chong Tao. Everybody calls him Chong Tao. And yeah, and then Peter Chen, Kid Zai.
Right.
The one thing with Kid Zai, on my channel, I call him Kid Zai because that's his nickname that they gave him. But nobody calls him Kid Zai to his face. They call him Kid Call. So because Kid Zai means like you're a boy.
Right.
There's a young boy.
So out of respect.
But out of respect, they call him Kid Call. Call means brother. So they call him Kid, and then they add Go to. So that's why, but for my channel, when I'm on YouTube, I'll call him Kid Zai for the non Chinese speaking
Viewers.
Yeah,
Right.
so they will understand that I'm referring to Kid Zai Peter Chen. But if I say Kid Call, then they'll be lost. They'll be like, so different nickname. Who is Kid Call?
So you personally didn't have any experiences with Johnny?
No, he was like different level, because once he got into drugs, he didn't deal with the street operations like that. Yeah,
he was very feared in the street. Like people were very scared of him.
They were scared of his people. Yeah, I mean, he's respected. He does his thing. He's not. He does his thing. I mean, he definitely. He's definitely up to it. There's only a handful of people who are the people who were the shooters. It's only a handful. It's only a handful.
So he ended up going away to prison for a long time for narcotics, right? And he was released in 2010, and like he disappeared. Like nobody knows what happened to him. Or do you know?
We'll leave it at that. There's a
okay. Yeah, you smirk a lot, and when I see you smirk, I'm like, oh, he knows something.
Of course, because it's a small, tight, group of people. Everyone knows everyone. They still keep in contact. I mean, especially if, I will just leave it at that.
Okay.
No he's good. He's good. He's good. Yeah. He's done good.
Did you guys do business with other Chinatowns across the U.S., like San Francisco and like Boston or Chicago, or is it just mainly like just in New York?
Just in New York. But the tongues, they have that's like I said, the gangs go to the tongues for the connection. So when the tongues, like we go like say Chicago or Boston, we'll go to the respective town and say, hey, we're going down there. They'll pave the way. Or let's say we're going to Hong Kong, and they're going to make their contact to the Triads in Hong Kong, and, they pave the way.
Yeah, because I was interested. I was wondering if like you guys had any experience with like Shrimp Boy, Raymond from San Francisco and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Shrimp Boy. Yeah, Kid Zai talks about that. Yeah. He was in New York. He was a card dealer back in those days. In a gambling house. In one of the Ghost Shadows establishments.
Yeah. Did you know China Mac's dad personally?
No. But I had one incident with him. But it wasn't a good incident, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. But I saw in the first interview you did with China Mac on your channel, which you guys should definitely check out. It's great. That you said China Mac's dad actually had more power than Onion Head at one point.
At one point, because Onion Head he got kicked out to Flying Dragons by the scientists. So
then he got brought back, right?
Yeah, he got kicked. That was before he got involved with the drugs. He got brought back. He came back because the scientists got gunned down. So he came back. His crew got kicked out. Onion Head's crew got kicked out. So he
Didn't
went.
wasn't there a rumor that he was behind the scientists getting gunned down?
That's a rumor. But
Hmm.
yeah, we'll let
Right.
him put the pieces together. Because what happened is he got kicked out, and then he became a truck driver delivering live chickens to the restaurants. Yeah.
That seems like a tough adjustment and fall from grace to go from that.
Yeah, and especially he got stopped by Kitsai and his crew one time while he was delivering chickens, and Kitsai's like, "What the hell are you doing in my territory, on my street?" And he tells, "Oh, I'm a working man. I'm just trying to make a living." And Kitsai told his guys give him a pass, because Onionhead gave Kitsai a pass one time when he was in. That was before when he was with the Flying Dragons under the Scientists. Uh, so, so yeah.
But
But
you
then
guys also called him the professor, right?
the scientist, no, nobody calls him the professor. Nobody even know who the professor was. We call him Fohoka, scientist. The
Oh,
scientist.
okay.
Fohoka is the scientist. It's just the newspaper mess up all the
Mm,
nicknames.
got
They'll
you.
call Onion Head Machine Gun Johnny. They'll call the scientist the professor. They originally the Canal Boys was Canal Boys. Then the newspaper started calling them BTK, and then they took over the name BTK. So it's like all these names get messed up by
What was your actual experience with the Flying Dragons and the Ghost Shadows beefing during that time?
that's their own beef. Got nothing to do
I
with
know,
us.
but like, was the Fuk Ching like, ever involved in any way or have alliance with either side?
The Fuk Ching have their alliance with the Ghost Shadows. The guy at the top dealt with the Ghost Shadows, and even the soldiers down to the soldier level dealt with the Ghost Shadows. But yeah, we had friends who were in the Ghost Shadows from Bayard Street and Ma Street. That's why some of our guys actually crossed over to the Ghost Shadows. And
Oh,
yeah,